This is what we're using today. Spray paint in a can, aerosol can. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. Okay. Now the last time I did this, which was quite a while ago, it's been quite a couple of few years more. I don't know. Someone had asked the question if I'd ever done it on fabric, and of course I'm like, well, no, but I will next time. Well, you know what? It's finally next time. So what I did, this is an old quilting thing. I don't know, people probably still do it. It's probably, probably still a thing. So you take your freezer paper, all right, and you basically trim it down, cut it down to whatever size you want to do your fabric, okay? Well, you got to flatten out your paper sometimes. And we're going to iron the fabric on. Now I'm using an unbleached cotton muslin. That's what we call it in the United States. I believe in Europe it is called calico. We consider calico a floral printed cotton fabric. Any hoots, get on with it. I am ripping that down to the approximate size of my water bucket. All right, y'all saw the measurement on that. I don't remember at the top of my head what the measurement was. All right. Now this fabric is just all kind of wadded up. It's not really wadded up, but it's not smooth and ironed and all that stuff. So we're going to pre-iron it to get some of those wrinkles out. All right. And then we will trim our fabric down to the approximate size that we made our freezer paper. Okay. And we will continue on doing that. Were there any surprises? Well, of course there was surprises. I won't tell you about that yet. Okay, so there we go. We're measuring. We're just putting a little nick in our fabric with our scissors, and we're just ripping it down, because you can do that with cotton fabric. You can do that with some blends too, but I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing it. So we're going to iron that on, and the iron is set on hot. Probably max, y'all. That's just a craft mat, silicone mat thing. Silicone, whatever, mat thing. And we're just gonna, iron it on there. I am using a little bit of pressure, but not a ton of pressure. Now you don't want to wiggle it around too much. You want it to cool, your fabric to cool on your little piece of freezer paper. Oh, and I showed you, I know I did, that the freezer paper has two sides. One is shiny, and that's the side with the wax, and the other side is dull, and that is just paper. You are ironing, oh, for heaven's sakes. You're going to iron your fabric to the shiny side, to the wax side, because that's what makes the fabric stick to the paper. Now, I put gloves on, and if you want to protect your tabletop, you're going to cover that too. Okay? Do this outside if you're going to do it. Don't rush out and buy spray paint, y'all, because spray paint's expensive. And I've had some of this probably since the last time I did this kind of thing. So I've got just plain water in my water bucket. Okay? We've already started. You need to pre-shake all your cans. It's a lot of work involved in this one, y'all. And then you're just going to spritz that in your water, and you want to do this on a not windy day, on extremely calm, no wind day. And if you could do it when it's coolish, that's good too, because the paint will dry pretty much when it gets on the water. And we're going to use some legal size, which I think is 11 by 14 inches here in America. And we got, that's copy paper. And then we've got some regular cardstock, which is regular size cardstock. And then we have our fabric that we have pre-prepped onto our freezer paper. Okay? Now, you cannot necessarily really control any of this stuff. Okay, you can pick family friendly colors so that they jive and get along pretty well. Okay, because when you spritz them on the water, depending on how close you spray, you're moving the water. Okay, and then the next color that you spray on there will move the previous paint, and so on and so forth. Did I get anything extraordinary from this? No, not necessarily. Did I get any that I hate? No, not necessarily. I did get one that was like, what? It was kind of disappointing, but we'll get there, okay? The paper does get pretty wet, all right? So you need a like I said, non-windy, not just because of the spray paint, but because your papers are going to blow all over the yard, y'all. Even though I have a thing I'm setting them on. I decided if I put more water in there, that would raise up the surface that I can lay the paper on. And it did to a certain extent. Because really my paper pieces and my fabric piece are just a wee bit too big. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. And some of my sprays didn't want to spray. And some of them did that spitty thing, you know, that spitty thing. Y'all know what that is. And I don't know what colors. I didn't really write them down. I could go out there and write them down, but I'm not going to, y'all. It's just whatever colors you got. If you got them, if you want to do this, because it's messy. It's time consuming. Okay? It just is. That one was white. It's white paint on a white paper, y'all. I tell you what, sometimes I just don't know. And you definitely want to wear the gloves. Okay? Because I ended up taking my gloves off because you can't work the camera with rubber gloves on. Okay? So, anywho, we are just proceeding on. Crossing fingers, this one works. A couple of them, it was weird. Oh, two of the paints I had glitter in them. I got them on clearance. Don't do that, y'all. Don't buy spray paint on clearance. Yeah, well, maybe $1, but no. I found that the glitter, like, kind of would scumble off the paper and especially the fabric, okay? Like I said, essentially when you're spraying on the water, it's like dry, not totally dry, on the water. It floats on the surface of the water, and then it sticks to your paper. And sometimes you get these long stringy things, that would be the paint, that didn't stick to the paper but was still floating in water, and then it becomes, you know, weird stuff. So, it's interesting. I don't remember really any details from the first time. I guess I could go back and watch that video, but I don't want to. You can, because if I remember, if I can find said video, I will link to it in the upper right-hand corner and also in the description box below the video, where you will find a list of ingredients. You're not going to find the colors of the paint, and they are all probably Rust-Oleum, because that's mostly what we have around these parts, so I'm pretty sure that's what we got. I do have a lot of colors though, don't I? I thought, wow, man, I don't know where all this, I don't know where it came from. Sometimes my husband, anyway, who needs that? So we're going along, and one of them, a couple of the colors were glossy color, which is slightly different than a regular spray paint. Who knew? And a couple of them had a metallic thing to them, which was slightly different than regular. Who knew? Who knew? I didn't know. Anywho, no glitter. Don't do a glitter one. That was disappointing. Anywho, we're just going to progress on. How long do we do this? I did it much longer than what you get filmed, okay, even though the video is sped up, and it was a while, y'all. So here I am. Some of them have mostly dried, and I'm going to re-dip them because why not? So I'm going to re-dip them. And some of them, I liked it that way, and I thought, well, you know, I might have should have re-dipped all of them. But anyway, you can get a little mud going on, okay, because the paint is thin on the water. So when it goes on the surface of your paper or your fabric, it's going to be thin and somewhat translucenty. So not everything is beautimous. Now, this is about the part where I'm going to tell you about some of them. Once everything got dry, some of them, the paint, and this was the glitter. I'm attributing it mostly to the glitter. The paint just kind of, you just rubbed over it with your hand or your fingernails, mostly fingernails, and it would just flake and disappear. It would just come right off. So that. One of them, for some reason, sometimes, I don't know why, if it was an air bubble between the surface and the substrate, I don't know, but some of them have like holes where there's absolutely no paint got on there. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. I don't understand it. Don't know, don't care, because I'm happy. Okay? You want to take the time to figure it out, you can figure it out. So, there goes the timer. I'm doing some stuff in the kitchen and it requires timing, but that was only half time. So now I got to put the rest of the time on there. So there we go. And gloves, definitely gloves. Cover your table because that's just nasty. I don't know. For the most part, I'm happy. Now here they are laying around in the yard. I had them up on the water barrel, and I have a clothing drying rack that I laid some of them on. And we're just kind of floating around the yard now, y'all. And it was nice and sunny, and there was no wind. It was coolish, but no humidity. It might do better if you did this like on a humid day, but not necessarily in the rain, y'all. So here it is. Now I wrote down, because I know somebody's going to ask, I had 10 pieces of fabric, 18 pieces of cardstock, and 20 pieces of the legal size paper, copy paper. And I got tired, y'all. I got tired, and I had like 4 or 5 pieces of paper left, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. So, as you can see, when you pull the fabric off the freezer paper, it just comes right off. It's no problemo. Y'all saw me rubbing on, some of it's kind of flaking off. It's weird, y'all. It's weird stuff. I've not done the fabric before, so I don't know. And one of them, when we get to it, hopefully we didn't already do that one, I will show you what happens when I washed it, the fabric in the sink, because I know somebody's going to ask. If, when I go to use these things, I will probably wash them before I use them to get off any loose paints, okay? See how some of that's just, it's just, I don't know. It just didn't stick. Maybe it was too dry. I don't know. It stuck pretty well to most of the paper. Now on this one, look at that. This is the one I think I end up washing. Yeah, look at all that just coming right off. I don't know. Some scientific, chemical related person could probably figure it out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one I washed in the sink in a little while. Y'all will see that in a little while. So, that's like my favorite one. I like so many of them. Some is like, but that's just kind of how it goes, isn't it? Anytime you're making painty papers, that's just kind of how it goes. So anyway, what are my intentions to do? I have no idea, no intentions. Someone asked the question and I finally got around to doing it. So, now like I said, I got 3 or 4 pieces of legal size copy paper left over, and this is them. It's like, yeah, they got wet. And yeah, when paper gets wet, it gets all wrinkly and wonkly and all that stuff. And if you wanted to, you could iron these. We did that before. Remember, that was the name of that video. I remember it. Floating paint and ironing paper. Original. Like me. So some of these portions will be really nice to use, and some of them would be like, well, we'll mostly cover the background up whenever we ever get around to using them, because y'all know I got a pile of painty papers, because I like doing painty papers and backgrounds, y'all. I use them sometimes. Sometimes I give them away. I don't know. So anyway, the doing is the fun part. Yeah, giving away can be fun too. Anyway, I'm pretty happy. And this, believe it or not, this part is sped up slightly. Not just not a lot, just some. That's a piece that I use just to skim off the top of the water. You know, whenever you're marbling paper, sometimes you got to skim off the top of the paper for that too. We might do that one day. I'm looking into it, I'm thinking about it. So, all in all, I'm relatively happy. Like I said, one of the pieces of fabric we will wash on camera. It was a hindsight. I thought, well, you know, I probably should wash this fabric and see how much of the paint comes off. And yeah, spoil the surprise. Because you know, some of these, y'all, it's like got that shimmery, shiny, shimmery thing going on. It's like, oh, some of them got gold, some of them, you know, whatever metallics in there. Um, some of them look better in real life than they do on my little editing screen, y'all. I'm just saying, because that's the truth. And some of that, it's like, why is that coming off right there? I have no clue. Truly no clue. But I like them. And I will probably weigh them down underneath the heavy book for a while just to, you know, smash them out. They did not stick together. And now they were pretty well dry, you know, before I layered them up. They did yesterday when I finished doing them. They did smell like spray paint. Today, when I was out there, because I did the washing today, the one piece today, it wasn't all paint, spray paint smelling. So the smell dissipated pretty well. And yeah, lots of painting, just lots. What did I say? It's 28, that's 48 pieces of stuff, including the fabric. Y'all, goodness gracious, here we go. Here's the one I decided to wash, because most of that purpley color came off. Now, essentially the water's cold when I start, but then when I rinse it, it's warm, and I'm just using, you know, dish liquid soap, because that's what's right there, so that's what I'm using. Would I run these in the washer and dryer? No, because I don't want this stuck in my washer tubes, pipes, whatever. We're just squishing it around in there. And now we're rinsing it with warm water. So yeah, some of the color came off. Weird. Hopefully it doesn't do that with the rest of the fabric. I might wash a couple other pieces, and then if it, you know, we'll report back to you. Maybe, probably, could happen. If it does all try to come off, I'll try to something. I'll experiment. Y'all know me and my experiments lately. Oh, goodness gracious. Get ready. Photo montage. As you can see, I did not take a photograph of every single one, but I did some of them. So you could see the textury look, the visual texture you got. And the papers, the cardstock and the paper, do have a textural feel to them. Okay? Hopefully this shows you that they're pretty cool. I mean, you know, I don't know if you could ever, it is like way more unexpected than what you could get on a jelly plate, just so y'all know. So, yeah, that's the cleanup page, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. They all look the same. That's one of my favorites right there. My husband, he said, that's my favorite. And I'm like, me too. It's incredible. Any hoots. Maybe that's my favorite. I don't know. I liked them all. Some of them more than others, of course, but that's just the way it goes. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Your likes, your kind comments, your shares, and your subscribes. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.